Welcome everybody back to Roll to Cast, our tabletop RPG podcast, and we have just finished season number 4 here at Roll to Cast, our Pulp Fiction scenario, Ambrosia Island. And I said Pulp Fiction, of course I mean, you know what? Great, let's roll with it.
Yay!
What is new out on Kickstarter, everyone? Get in touch, get involved.
So I picked a katana as my weapon.
The baffling panic on Phil's face. My name is Sean. I was the keeper for this season, and I'm joined around the table by...
Oh, I'm Chris. I was Father John.
What were you?
Mystic?
Yes, yeah, you're a mystic, my friend.
That's correct.
I am Phil. I played Jörn Halverson, who was an egghead.
Hi, I'm Ellen. I played Mina Saginario, who was a New York City two-fisted gangster.
And I am at the end of Sean's finger there over Zoom. And I'm Paul, and I played Pierre and Stanley. Both of them bon vivants because I didn't create a second character sheet.
Brilliant!
I love this. For the first time ever, we've so Paul is coming to us all from sunny Melbourne, a full 8 hours away.
Sunny.
Well, it won't be in 5 minutes,
drive.
right?
Yeah. But we have visuals, so I can cue Paul via my finger whenever need be.
I wish you wouldn't finger Paul like that.
I feel
But
like
he
I
has
should.
to. He has to and needs to, whether I want it or
Considering
not.
how sexual the finale of this season was the entire way through.
Yeah, we didn't.
And the last time I was on the show.
Yes. And just when you were here in general.
Just total orgy.
This is our post-season broadcast, as it were. This is the chance for us to debrief, to talk about our favourite moments. If you have any questions for me or me for you, and some of our fans' questions as well, and also to give a bit of a taste of what we can expect next season in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I got one. Who's the broad? All right, I'm done. As soon as you said broadcast, that's all I could think of.
I see. I got you. I got you.
But I also didn't
Miss
want to
being
interrupt you like an a-hole.
But you do anyway.
Just sat there with your hand up.
Yeah.
Didn't want to, but I did.
So this is an interesting season because we first recorded this in, I figured it out, January of 2020 was when we first recorded this season.
Yeah, 1962.
And then, as Bo Burnham would say, the funniest thing happened.
Yeah, wouldn't you believe?
COVID happened, and Paul, we weren't able to get Paul for a full year and 2 months?
Yes.
It was pretty much a year on the dot once you came back, wasn't it?
A bit past, and there's...
Bit later, but yeah.
Between episode 19 and 20 is a full year difference between those two episodes.
Can you hear it in our voices?
We're post-pandemic in those episodes.
We were
a bit
so
all
slightly
world
less
weary.
Yeah.
So it's not the only time that... so what we normally do is we try and get it all done in a weekend, but we don't sort of restrict ourselves and go, we have to finish it. If the story kind of has legs, and this happened with Red as well, where we came back a little bit later, so it's not sort of against our kind of, it's not a complete anomaly.
No.
The anomaly was a year of worldwide disease.
Yeah, the world was the anomaly, not us.
Yeah, that's right. But I feel like we did it felt very natural, I thought, to slot back in afterwards and do those last kind of sessions together. I was very happy with how we slipped back into the groove. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that's a question for our listeners. I mean, how many people noticed a change in audio quality or a change in performance? If you did, let us know. If not, let us know you're surprised that we pulled it off.
Yeah.
Welcome
Could you tell that we
back.
were sitting in different seats around the table?
Well, we weren't
configurations.
sitting upstairs
Yeah,
in
not in
Sean's
my
bedroom.
room.
Yeah. I was probably wearing shorts one of the times.
Oh,
yeah, you were definitely wearing shorts the first time.
Changes the type of performance when you wear shorts.
It really does.
Yeah, it does.
The added breeziness really
Yeah.
kind of loosens you up, I feel.
Makes you more powerful.
Such a solemn tool for podcasters.
So I have some questions for you, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot from the hip.
So
No, don't.
I'll start with my questions about the narrative, I guess. So, what parts of it kind of came together first? Where was the kernel of the story? Was it to do with the island? What did you pick an elder god that you wanted to base a story around? Was it Garrison? What was the kind of the seed?
impetus, so to speak.
The seed of the story.
So the Pulp Cthulhu book, and I went to say fiction again. The Pulp Cthulhu book actually has. So when I gave you guys the information from both books to use, the core Cthulhu book and the core Pulp book, one of the sections that I didn't give you was it has a section on different organizations and different factions and different villains, and the two that popped up. was Department 29, and it has 3 pages worth of information about that, and also the Ambrosia Foundation.
Right.
And the Ambrosia Foundation is also linked, and it has a primary villain that's associated with it that actually doesn't get touched on fully until the little stinger at the end of the season.
Right.
And then I grabbed those, like some of the information that it brings out of that book, and then I also married it with a particular god or entity that I wanted to incorporate. I didn't want to do Cthulhu, but I wanted something that is a little bit different. And then when I got the Living Flame, that just seemed like a natural fit when I started looking at kind of, there's a lot of cults and such that, worship fire. And so it just kind of married itself together. And that was kind of the beginning for it.
So it was the major players first, the department versus the foundation.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, and then the god on top, and then you added the whole kind of took shape around that.
Yeah, the
That's
island.
cool, yeah.
The island is like just such a pulpy function of the genre anyway. So
the
I knew I wanted.
mysterious island.
Yeah.
As opposed to like
it's great.
the way that we do seasons, it just. We'd be rushing too much if I did you kind of like a jet-setting global adventure,
Yeah.
which Pulp Cthulhu does lend itself to. But I was like, if I can just get you to one place,
Yeah.
I'll have the majority of the adventure there.
Yeah, create an othered space is a really pulpy thing. So I think that's really, really smart.
Yeah.
Plus a place where it's like we don't call the shots.
Yeah.
And for
We're
most,
isolated.
Yeah, most of the I was re-listening to the finale just now, and I'm like, oh yeah, like for probably 10 episodes, I didn't have a gun. like we were without our weapons for that long.
Oh, so there are 2 things that didn't make me panic more. One of which was when I realized how unequipped I was to handle characters with guns.
And who know how to use them.
I nipped that in the bud as quickly as I could.
Just take them away.
In the most railroady way possible.
Right.
Because I just wasn't ready to handle that one. Oh, and also we got the rules wrong.
Yes.
And the second one was when, so it was around episode, it was before we get to the island, and we make a point where Chris goes, oh yeah, so we'll just go to London first. I'm like, fuck.
No, you won't.
Do I have to roleplay London?
London doesn't exist.
There are storms. Terrible storms. And you've been diverted.
Oh my god, it's like
To 2 people that are from England as well. It's like, yes, I know England.
I'm just imagining like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where it's like traveling on the map, and then suddenly it's like a breeze comes and they go the opposite way.
Plot gets in the way. Do you have any questions, Paul?
Well, I've got the one that everyone has every single time for every TTRPG they've ever played, which is how much did we fuck up your storytelling?
Yes, that's a good question.
How unpleasant did we make it?
So the major one was Ellen fucked me straight away.
But what I do in the all right, we've already made that joke
Which is and
so many times.
in that the original
Classic.
primary villain was meant to be not the Daniel Herbert, the
Joan
Garrison.
Cassidy?
Dexter Winwood that
Dexter
you
Winwood.
meet at the
yes.
beginning. Dexter was meant to get away.
Yes.
Because I wanted to incorporate that big movie trope of you see him at the beginning and then they get away and then they come back at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that just wasn't going to happen.
It's like a Tarantino film.
You can
Ari
see
Katie,
he's
yeah.
absolutely jolting and gyrating in his seat, and he just leans against what is left of that steering wheel, which takes a hard right-hand turn, and the entire car goes into the waterfront. Goes off the ledge and plunges down. Chris, after our first day of recording, we'd wrapped up for the day, and it was Chris, I believe, that went, imagine if Garrison ends up being the big bad. And I was like, yeah. Stealing that idea.
This is furthering my belief that you need to shut the hell up when you're near a keeper or a GM.
Oh, give them the ideas.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with this philosophy. I've been learning Mouse Guard recently, which is based on Burning Wheel, and there's loads of mechanical stuff in that rewards you specifically for getting in your own way.
Yeah.
So in Mouse Guard, it's about using your traits against yourself, and if you do, you get rewards later. And I think I agree with Chris. It's like, do it. Give your GM all the tools to screw with you, because it makes stories so much more
That's
fun.
what a backstory is. Just tools for the DM or the GM
What
or
is-
whoever
it's
to fuck with you.
collateral.
And that's what you do, and it's a gift. It's
Yeah.
to say, hey, thank you for running this game. Please fuck over my character.
That's probably the only instance that really didn't go according to plan. Like, I was happy to stay in New York as long as we goddamn wanted to, because I've got a million NPCs I can bring in. I don't know about you guys. I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah, Tony brings out his family. I want you to meet my son.
His 15 sons.
Yeah.
Me and Virginia each cannelloni, yeah?
Cannelloni and the bruschetta, and how about that date for the you and me?
Don't push your luck, Tony.
Okay, I'll ask it again next week. I wouldn't keep asking if you didn't keep it coming back.
Come back for the food, Tony, and also I own
My
this
other
place.
major question was not to do with the narrative, was more to do with the book, which is, you've already sort of alluded to it. Famously, very straightforward system, Call of Cthulhu, not horribly crunchy with a million interlocking systems and different ratings for things at all. Did that worry you at all when you were sort of learning it and you're like, this is one of my first major endeavors in running a story, and there's a million rules, and plus it's a mod of those rules?
The scariest bit was sanity. Because sanity has an entire chapter devoted to it, and you can actually go a lot more intricate with it if you like. I just streamline a lot of rules and just kind of play by how I wanted to. Like, for example, it's just very simple. I tried to play on a trope of, instead of it being a thing where you lose sanity whenever you just see existential horror and monsters and blah, 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 just real characters doing real things like having to kill a person with your bare hands or sing, that would take away sanity.
Yeah, good.
Just to kind of play on that that's subverting that a little bit. But as far as the actual system is concerned, the thing that drew it to me was the course function, which is the D100, and rolling under your skill. That's what drew me to it. And I was overwhelmed at first by the Call of Cthulhu system, which is why I was like, let's just make it more fun and light, which is the pulp game. But then I realized, then I've just added another book on top of what I already had to, which means I need to know the rules and then know the tweaks to the rules. So that was fun.
Do you get much pushback from fans for breaking rules? Because as somebody who's pretty rules light in life, which is a lot less fun than it sounds. It's actually a curse. But a lot of what I find fun about TTRPG podcasts is when people don't give that much of a fuck and just it's a lot of friends having a lot of fun. But I know that's different for other people.
The only pushback we've ever had, well, not even pushback, but someone pointing it out, is I remember someone actually crunched the numbers and the dice in terms of Phil rolling against Junk to be killed. I remember we got a comment.
It's a very borderline case. And I did wonder, when I edited that, I was like, maybe I didn't do this quite right. What if anyone's going to notice? And then someone was like, they should have a penalty there and should have this. And I was like, yeah, well.
Yeah. I guess the good thing for us is that, we're more focused on the actual kind of product of it. And so we'll cop to whenever we're wrong about stuff.
Totally.
But that's the thing of when we get together for, 3 or however many kind of block recordings, something that goes wrong then, or like with our auto fire, we didn't figure that out until after the break. Because,
not until because we don't use them again really until we came back a year later.
Yeah, but it's like if you had used that, I don't know, like twice in the same day, then we probably would have made the same mistake.
Yeah.
Again.
And maybe someone would have gone,
Yeah.
I feel like the response is if someone says to us, hey, you did this rule wrong, our answer would be yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
And also,
but generally people, as you say, they engage more with the fiction.
Yeah.
And I think that's what most people want when they come to an actual play.
Yeah.
Right? It's a good story.
It's our philosophy is that it's 4 people who haven't played many TTRPGs or are engaging with new systems are going like, we're exploring a new one. We're telling a new story with this. Generally, it's
and that's
a new
part
system.
of like what you do around a casual table as well. You are figuring out rules as you go.
Yeah.
And there's a level of expedience there that you have to consider when recording and trying to fit everything into a weekend.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd go for something less mechanically crunchy next time, or do you think that's not a factor to what you want to choose to do next?
Well, it's funny because one system that I really want to play with is crunchier, and it's Starfinder.
Right?
I really want to play with the Starfinder system, but it's because Pathfinder's notoriously crunchy.
Yeah,
it's
and
3.75.
and Starfinder's like an extension of that.
Yes,
but And then I also want to play the Star Wars RPG, and that
Yeah.
one's got a fucking weird.
That's not as crunchy.
No, it's just got a weird like core
it's got
mechanic.
weird dice.
Is that did the D20 one or the
No,
other
it's
one?
that they've made their own dice.
Right,
Yeah,
it's
the-
the
yeah,
new
the
di-
proprietary
there's,
dice
there's
one.
3 TTRPGs.
That's
in
how they
Star
get
Wars,
you.
I think.
First you get the game, then you gotta buy the dice.
Yeah.
First
reel you in.
TTRPG is free.
My question to you guys is, how did you find the Pulp Cthulhu game and system and tone, and like what was your? Because for the three of us, well, for the three of you, sorry, like we obviously float from tone to style. So how did that one work for you? And especially for Paul coming in for the first time, yeah, what was your experience and thoughts on Pulp Cthulhu as a whole?
Well, I'm not like too perturbed because as someone who's never, I'm always a bit kind of nervous in terms of systems anyway, so I kind of rely on other players and GMs and keepers to kind of I'm always very honest in that, like, look, I will probably ask questions about like, I think this is how it works, is that correct, or this is what I want to do, is that how do I do that? So it's like on that side of things you'll always be pretty square as long as it's like the basic fundamentals. But I think I'm always more interested about the genre and the game and like doing a big The Mummy-esque style pulpy thing that we hadn't really done
No, not
comedy
really.
at that point, have we?
Not straight up comedy. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and-
definitely 2020. Elements of the 2020 season are comedic.
Yeah, like it bleeds into all of our games because we're just naturally funny people.
Couple of goofs.
Yeah, but it's just like I that kind of broad style. It felt like such a breath of fresh air, and so many kind of fun possibilities. And I know that for me, I was like, oh yes, absolutely. Like me. In the Pulp Cthulhu book, the bit I was like, oh, it was just like looking at all the archetypes. And I was like, femme fatale, two-fisted, egghead. Oh my God, boy, would I. So yeah, that's for me what I found the most invigorating.
Yeah, I think there's an element of carte blanche there to sidestep some of the rules when you can be a bit more fun, or at least for me anyway. Wasn't burdened with having to play very like close to the rules, like perhaps I would have to if I were playing Vampire the Masquerade or something like that, which is not to say that it's a less fun game or anything.
No, it has less rules. It has even less rules, Vampire the Masquerade.
No,
Yeah, but I
mean
you
more
have
like
the rules that it has, you have to play to. Otherwise, you really unbalance the game. I feel like is that what you're getting at, Paul?
I don't necessarily mean the rule book, but the society as well.
Right,
Like everything,
yes.
there's a lot more to learn with that. Whereas because I can come in and be an idiot, and just have to focus on quipping, it just freed me up
Yes.
to have a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a quip mechanic in this game. That's my one thing. It's like if you could add something onto Pulp Cthulhu.
Let's add more systems to
yeah, it needs to be like a little quip meter or something.
bonus quip dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested, Chris, from your point of view as well, especially because, World of Darkness and Vampire is your jam. So this feels like a flip reverse of it. Not to say that you don't play light and comedy games, but it does go against your natural inclination.
I think, I play comedy games semi-regularly, but my interest is in TTRPGs being, their focus is not to, I was seeing an interesting article that was saying like, they don't have to be fun. And so my inclination is towards that. But I had fun with this. And I think that's, if I didn't, it would have been like a problem, right? On either us or the keeper or whoever, right? Or maybe the game. I don't know. But I had a lot of fun with it. I think you can have a kind of preference for TTRPGs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But also, if you're going into a game that is against your preference, you've got to go into it sincerely. And I had to have fun sincerely, which was fun. Like it's not a burden, not a hard thing to do, hardish, but it was a lot of fun.
So I do have a question for you and your characters. Were there things in the game, whether it is something that was on your character sheet or part of your backstory, that didn't get revealed, and you would like to divulge that, or you would like to talk about something that you didn't get to experience that maybe you wanted to? Because I know there are things in it.
Blowing stuff up.
Yes, the
demolitions. I was a railway engineer.
right.
I was a railway engineer was my backstory, and so I put bunch of points in demolitions, and I never got to blow anything up. So that was just a disappointment.
My God.
Just disappointment.
I don't know if
Sequel.
you've seen Atlantis, the Disney animated film, but they do have like a demolitions expert like there who would have been very similar to that character. I feel
Right.
It's a
like.
real
Yeah.
Jørn Halvorsen.
Yeah.
A real Jørn Halvorsen.
So a little Easter egg that I put in there, if you'd have pursued it in our year later recording, is if you had have insisted on going to where they kept the guns locked up before there was going to be dynamite there. Because one of the extra ways that you could have potentially stopped Cthulhu is to line the cave with dynamite, and then I would get that demolitions rolled
Blow up the ritual instead.
Yeah. If you just
I kind of like the
Fight-
superpowered anime robot,
yeah.
to be honest. I
Fight
think that was
fire
pretty
with fire.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
Little Jørn.
Sending K9 in.
Jens.
What about you, Ellen? Any background stuff that didn't get revealed?
Yeah, I mean, Mina, like, she's pretty tight-lipped, but also it's like,
What you see is what you get.
yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, she came to the island to get some kind of retribution, but I don't think that she had quite figured it out as well. So, yeah, her brother was kind of responsible for her twin dying in prison. And so of the remaining Sagenario clan who could like inherit being, you know, she's already made, but it's like the upper echelon of the family.
It was an interesting thing. I had flirted with the idea
Yeah.
of your brother being kind of the sacrifice to the cult.
Right,
It was
yeah,
like
yeah.
I was going to give Mina kind of an extra kind of reason to fight against the Cthulhu.
Yeah.
As kind of that's why he disappeared. He kind of was just, you know. But it just didn't kind of fit, and there's already too many balls up in the air by that point, so it's just easy
Yeah.
to go.
And it's easy just to go, oh, I'm just trying to stop, you know, the universe from imploding. I don't need to necessarily have extra skin in the
Yeah.
game.
What about you, Paul? Because you had a fairly sizable character shift.
I think
Your
I think I
secrets have
covered
been
almost
revealed.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fan
There was
favorite
a good-
character.
Yeah.
BT
Yeah.
dubs.
Woo! I don't know. It was a lovely surprise. Thanks, Mum, and all the other people who voted. Obviously, spent a good 5-6 hours in the beginning of the game going, how am I going to crowbar this in?
I played the part of a French defector going over to the German side, passing information to the oppressors. But in fact, I was feeding information to the allies.
It sounds like something from some kind of silly story.
Were you trying to think of an author that would be around at that time?
And then that happened, and it was fine. The only thing that was definitely opportunity to make the character a bit more interesting was it came from discussion during the game of him being a libertine and maybe just bringing a lot of bisexual fuck energy to the game, and didn't get to explore that at all. And in retrospect, you know, listening to the episodes up right before I came over to record the last little bit, there are a few moments there where I thought, yeah, I could have at least, you know, made a pass.
Can I ask where? Or with whom?
Mook's on the train. Got a mook to fuck.
What, you-
Nothing sexier than having a fuck in the middle of a fight on a train.
What about Daniel? You're like, oh, I've come into your home.
Yeah, he's
Maybe I can
Daniel Hebert.
a swishing
Come
gentleman.
into your home, come into your...
Yeah,
a bedroom.
Goodness
Oh.
gracious.
there's a porno right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably opportunity in the club at the very least.
Ah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Not for Lenny. He was probably not Pierre's
Not
type.
your type.
Poor Lenny.
Even if they're brothers now. Off the top of my head, details a bit fuzzy, as with everything in life. But yeah, definitely a few moments. I think someone was egging me on to at least make a pass on Jørn.
I think that was me.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay.
then
Because then we got the Jørn reveal.
Jørn wasn't in.
Do you like the left or the right side of the bed?
It was the same bed.
Was this only one bed?
No, it's two beds.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Jørn
I
pushed
thought
them
you said it was
together.
only one bed.
I mean, I can be persuaded easily.
Actually, you know, I've never had much interest in things of that nature, so I'll think a pass.
It's any time you fancy a change.
I have tried in my past, but doesn't really do it for me.
Perhaps you're just not met the right libertine.
It's possible. But perhaps another time, Pierre.
Fair enough. You're clearly married to your
That's
scribbles.
fine.
Yeah.
Simple man. He just
I mean,
doesn't really think about romance.
doesn't need to be Doesn't need to be romantic.
It's not about romance.
Let's segue that into Andrew James's message on Twitter, because then Chris can round this out.
Sure.
Lovely. So Andrew James said, what was the deal with Father John? What was his backstory? Also, not enough train talk. And I think there was quite a lot of train talk.
You can always have more train talk.
Sure.
John was a World War II vet, I think, from memory, served, and also was was involved in one of the secret orgs from the Pulp book that Sean and I discussed. No, he was part of the European org.
Yeah, which is not in the book. We made it up.
That's right.
Which was Skyforth.
Yeah.
The European wing.
Father John was part of a secret org called Skyforth. He's basically a priest who has visions, which plays havoc with his sense of like faith and his own perspective on what God is and who God is, and his own sense of justice, right and wrong. And
So when did he start having visions?
It was like 6 months previous to the start of the campaign.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a lifelong thing or during his service. He was like recently had started.
I can't remember
because
if we put it in.
It was him getting them kind of as he got closer to the mythos, and started working with Garrison, because they were the first. Because there's an order which you met.
Yes. John was the first one to meet Garrison. Is
Correct.
that right?
Yes.
And so the more he, as a young man, obviously was just like, demons are bad, kill them. I'm a man of the cloth. Sure. Yeah.
And he spoke with that accent
He absolutely
too.
did.
And
so
War changed him.
as he got closer to the mythos, he takes on qualities that are mystic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a tropey and good kind of starting point. And also, John,
the troubled priest with a connection to the supernatural.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, and it's pulp, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much. I don't want to talk too much about John, because also he's a pulp character. Like, the point is in part that he's two-dimensional in some regards. You know?
Well, the reason I sort of was never, I didn't want to like ever press you about like sort of what's his story is he kind of has that kind of feeling a bit like Shepherd Book from Firefly. Where you never really get to find out why he's a total badass.
And also,
it's just what he is.
Yeah, but it's also fun to get little drips here and there. Like, you know, not that it ever happened with Firefly, but it's like if we did get the whole shebang backstory, you know, you wonder if like, that would have been...
It can lessen it a bit.
Yeah, whereas to have little moments, you're like, whoa, there's so much more than kind of meets the eye here.
So there's another little Easter egg. I get you to roll, when you're in the car, you've just had the big car chase scene and you're going towards the forest, and I get you all to roll a perception. You will make me a spot hidden roll for me. God, I love spot hidden.
It's a good roll, isn't it?
Conceal reveal.
Oops, 95.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's a no from me. 88.
That's a no from me. 41.
Come on.
No, from me, 40.
None of us know anything.
No.
None of us spot anything.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Arthur, you would have noticed a very pulpy thing where parachuting from the air to help turn the tide against all the monsters there were two different things. One was Skyforth.
Hey! That would have been rad.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And the other was that
See, I can have fun.
Mina's mob got the message.
That's
So it's like
awesome.
mob members and Skyforth all coming out. You see Lenny in the background. It would have just been
That would have been great for them to just
You
like...
shouldn't have hid that behind a roll, man.
Yeah, just
I
like...
wanted it to be a nice.
That's cute.
We
That's
were
nice.
we were rollicking towards the end. I was like,
Yeah.
if you get it, it's a reward.
But that would have been
that's
so
cute.
funny to see them just like, yeah, we're not usually on the same side here.
Yeah.
We're just like,
A bunch of
Alright.
mobsters.
Cut to end credits. Lenny being like stuck in a tree.
yeah,
Hey guys, anyone?
being cut down by members of...
my hat.
yeah.
God damn it,
Oh
Lenny.
dear. I have one a comment.
got another one.
Comment from Discord.
Yay.
This is from a private Discord that I'm part of, and a friend who listens. Shout out to you, mate. Who had a favorite moment of? Did you draw in the book? Yeah, it's just dumb old book. From Necronomicon, which they really appreciated as a little
Clear.
little nice.
Did you say you drew in the book?
Yeah, that's what we're copying.
Onto the map.
I'm putting pen to paper.
Just to be clear, are you sure?
Into the Necronomicon.
Yeah, it's a dumb old book.
It's just a dumb old book.
What's the worst it could do?
It's just a book.
It's drawing.
It's not like it's
I
the
remember that
Bible.
moment being like, oh God, what are you doing?
I think I respond with, Father John was just like chucking down some sermon ideas. Just musings.
What were the sermon ideas? God, good, smiley face.
Use Romans? Question mark? And just a bunch of verse numbers, I guess. Yes, which probably in the Necronomicon not a good thing to just put random numbers.
So
Or
what were
words.
some people's favorite moments from the season?
You can't go past Screeching Sam.
A news vendor.
Extra! Read all about it! You, sir! You look like a reader!
Hi, all right there, screechy child.
My name's Sam.
All right, Sam. I'll grab one of those papers from you.
That'll be... Oh, what's the currency in
What a
1999?
guy. I mean, I do really like both where it comes and how it was delivered was Paul's kind of reveal of him having two sides of his character and being a spy. It felt
Fortuitous.
very like in theme and in world
Yeah.
to have this character with one ridiculous accent go, actually, no, I have this other ridiculous accent.
Yeah.
And I don't need this cane at all, and blah blah blah. It just felt really good
Yeah.
and in
Yeah.
theme. And then I just, for me, it was the thing I planted from the beginning of my backstory of Jens the tiny automaton being involved in like an anime. Beam back
Cross
Yeah.
the streams,
cross the street versus the big bad, while he like tries to like keep together.
Love that you say he's a children's toy as well.
That was an improvised line. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm picking my own moment, but
It's good.
You can do
it was
that.
good. I literally loved it. What did I say?
Don't know how much longer Jens can hold. Great Kuthuka, it's a children's toy. Will somebody shoot her?
I'll take the shot then.
Okay, yeah. Can I see?
That's one of my favorite actual things that Pulp Cthulhu introduces, which is the ability to use weird magic.
Weird
Yeah.
science.
And just like you can use jetpacks and you can have little, voice altering boxes. It goes as simple as that. And then death rays and laser rays.
yeah.
Why not?
Total.
I'm just listening to that episode with Jens battling streams with Cthulhu and just thinking, God, that worked out so well.
Yeah.
Great foresight from you, Phil.
I just like the point where the other players realize they're like, wait a minute, your invention's powered by evil eldritch energy. I'm like, maybe.
Oh, well. We're a very shruggy party, aren't we? Just like, okay.
I think that was an interesting moment because I was
my yum.
it's one of those things where you know that it's a player that wants to have this thing incorporated from their
Yes.
backstory, and I was like, how the fuck is this going to play? I need a way, and then it's like fire, water. Well, we got the budget. Let's do it.
We've got the budget.
That's good.
I think I can't go past. There's like two moments that stick out for me. One is the library scene, just in general.
Ducks out of the way. This creature goes over the railing.
Yes!
And falls down to the
biggest
floor.
idiots, and we're alive.
And the almighty roar splats.
Like the
to the
whole
ground.
fight, just how it turned out. It's like that stuff. It's like you can't write that how that turned out. It was just perfect. Of like Sean deciding to like, no, kid gloves are off.
Sean being
You're-
legitimately pissed
Yeah,
off.
you're fucked now. But then also like just the general luck of being able to fight off and like literally push it over a banister like we're like little kids trying to like trip over a giant or something. Like that just it's beautiful, it's wacky, it's very silly. But then I love I don't think it's the next episode, but it's like the kind of everyone recouping and the kind of like
That's Aftermath number 19.
yeah, and it's kind of like
Afterburn.
the little scene with Mina and Stanley smoking about just kind of like drop it. Like it they're very comedic characters, but the whole thing of like, yeah, we might not see this, see another day.
For a while, you've got to die or make like it and just keep running until you run out of energy.
I get that. It's not an easy life being always wanted by people. You just keep hoping for another day.
that you got more ammo than the other guy.
It's a good moment where you finally, because we've spent 18 episodes at that point being pretty comedic and light and kind of balls to the walls, and then you earn that moment of kind of like, just, it's the aftermath of a huge battle where they actually get a moment to, think by themselves, and it feels really earned, and that's why I think it connects so much better. And it's, for my money, one of my favorite tracks that Paul's ever done. I love that track, and it just fits so perfectly. It's like it was the last 6 minutes worth of footage, and that's pretty and it worked perfectly with the song. I mean, oh, great.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
It's I think it's one of my favorites, For all the bombastic stuff, it's the little quiet one that I remember most.
Yeah.
Well, I do really love the times when the characters split up and we get, or like split into pairs, and we get interesting back and forth between them. And I think we get opportunities in every combination. So there's something with Jörn and Mina, or Mina and Stanley, or John and Pierre, and so on and so forth. And it just gives everyone a bit of a chance to flex something of their character, changing how they'd behave in a group, these rambunctious, larger-than-life, ridiculous characters. But and then, being a bit more intimate. But, I got to say the train fight is a huge highlight for me. And when I was listening back to the episodes, coming out weekly, I was just thinking, okay, when's the train fight? Enough of this shit.
More train talk. More train talk.
More train talk, to quote Andrew
trains.
James.
Paul just said it there. They're both facing you.
So then, in that case, then I push past both Pierre and Mina. Like, after Pierre's, I've got this, Father John pushes through, and Father John Murphy is on top of him, stabbing this man in the throat.
Theme that I wrote, the leitmotif for that, was one of my favorites as well.
Yes.
It builds really nicely, and the crescendo. Sometimes you do write music that makes your own hairs stand on end. It's wanky, but it's the truth. Otherwise, why would you keep making music?
Yeah.
So everything just worked out so well, and just an amazing dynamic with Jörn failing that. Was it a perception roll or psychology or something, and just not getting a fight was about to break out.
Not seeing the mooks coming in, and so he's just, I wish you could have gone the whole fight like
Wax
that.
Lyrical.
That was
amazing.
So excellent.
and it just gets properly violent very quickly, and the stakes are raised immediately. And then, with the character twist there, when I was like, my heart rate was increasing when I realized now is the time that I can use this, and it's actually going to feel natural. Just the series of lucky coincidences that led to Pierre being in the state he was at the end of the fight just worked out so well.
It was also for me, it was a great lesson learnt in how to do fight scenes better, and just being able to, like, if it's gonna be mind's eye rather than actually having a physical representation, then you need to be very clear. Not about just who's where, but the differences between people. Like something that I took from both Chris and Phil for the finale battle by using Power Rangers as an analogy.
Yes.
But like,
why
just
not?
a little thing that lets you know, okay, because like even I got confused in the train scene of who's dead, where have they fallen, and relaying that to everyone else as well. It was a good lesson.
Yeah. I would say my favorite moment is probably Jörn. Phil, you role-playing inversed.
Oh, yeah.
Mean Jörn.
The psychotic break moment. Yeah.
That stupid woman.
That was a great moment, because it was at the right point in the story where we know this character long enough so we can see an inverse kind of performance. And it's funny, but also kind of horrible. Because we like Jörn, we don't want him to be mean. So please stop him being mean. Thank you. Okay, bye. Like it was earned and really.
You seem to be much more capable than I am on that front, but perhaps there's something that we can help you with that is outside of combat.
Time is of the essence, so whatever you're going to do, I would hurry up if I were you.
I like this.
You've been too friendly and jolly.
How dare he?
It's funny when he's grumpy at things where he's like, because I think Mina's relaying the thing and she's like, I just told you. And he's like, oh, what? Well, you didn't do it fast enough. Really funny.
And the twist, obviously, with here was excellent. The train scene generally, also the car scene.
Yeah.
I know that Sean was sweating under the amount of rules that it had.
Cut to the chase,
that
it's
there were, the
complicated.
car says it was complicated.
Yes.
But you were really happy that you got to pull it off.
Oh,
Yes.
because that's the
Yeah.
one thing that I was going to incorporate. That's how Dexter Winwood gets away, is in a car chase.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, how do I shoehorn a car chase? It'll take a year, but I'll get there.
And it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Sean in that split second. Maybe I can make a car chase in water.
Boat chase. Oh, hell yeah.
There you go.
Can I reciprocate just quickly by highlighting how good a use of the pulp specific rule you made, Chris, of dumping 30 points of luck to make a miraculous
You
return.
slide dog.
Great.
I was going to say.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect use of that rule. Perfect trope of like, we're sharing a drink to the lost comrade. He just walks through the door.
Bloody Gandalf the White.
Yeah.
And listening back to it, there's a point where Sean is like, "Do you want to use luck on that?" And you're like, "No."
Yeah.
I'm
You're
going to
really...
make sure that I have at least 30 luck.
Yes.
Oh, because I know what the fuck he's doing, but I'm trying to get people under 30 so they can't use
can't
it.
do it.
And then when they go to use it, like, damn it.
Yeah, I knew at that point that I was like, oh, I'm well safe. Like, I'm okay. I'll make a point of it that I'm not going to use luck, and then be really upset that I don't have enough luck.
Yeah.
Air quotes included.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that was a lot of
slide
fun.
dog.
Just playing
Great
us
moment.
like a fiddle.
Yeah,
It just felt very genre way to finish.
Yeah.
Like, and that for me, when you tie it up with something.
Sean wanted to have that rule involved as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
because there's one of two rules you can do, which is either that rule, which is, I survived death, or there is you can use whatever luck you have left to basically, if you're about to die, you
Heroic.
can do one last thing.
The heroic sacrifice.
The heroic sacrifice, whether it's a roll, whether it's, producing something that goes, I don't get to survive this, but maybe I can do one last thing to help turn the tide. And you have to kind of almost choose between those things, which is either you can make a sacrifice and maybe actually do something to help the rest of the party or the group, or you can survive, but you're knocked out of that scene, so maybe they all die, but you get to live. So it's almost like there's a choice you have to make there if those things come up, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris, you said there was a fan.
We do, yeah. Charles Smith. Hey, Charles.
Hey.
Charles. We love Charles Smith. Charles Smith is our most, our biggest commenter on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you to Charles Smith.
Mr. YouTube.
Go to our YouTube channel if you don't already. Subscribe to the channel. All the podcasts are there. And also there's a bunch of other stuff.
So
Yeah.
much other stuff.
A lot of other stuff.
A daily upload of Let's Plays.
For like over a year now.
Yeah, 2 years now. And
Wow.
and some big announcement videos as well.
Yeah.
Those will get posted to Twitter and our Discord, but make sure you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe.
You heard Father John.
Yeah. There's some questions for you, Sean.
Oh,
Was there any possible way to save the astronomer
Joan. Yes.
with more mythos knowledge or something?
So, because there are several different ways that you could go about trying to stop the ritual. One of them, which is what we went with, which is just straight up kill everyone.
Yeah.
That stops
Douse
it.
the flames and
Yeah.
kill.
Yeah.
Or I would have. I was dropping hints that obviously there's a bigger connection between Yearn and Joan, so there could have been
Yes.
like an appeal to reason, a more like role play, like try and like bring her
actively-
from the brink.
I actively rejected
Well, I
that
was
idea.
going to say, you were like, nah, she's gone.
She gone.
And it's funny because I was like, no, she's not. So yeah, that was one way you could have done it. Or again, yeah, but that was probably the main way. It would have to be like other characters could have tried, but I would have given an extra kind of incentive or an extra like kind of helping hand if Yearn had tried to pull on that
I know there is
relationship.
good in you.
Yeah, 100%. That would have been the way. Otherwise, she was straight up going to
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
I think we answered this question earlier in the episode. How many sessions was this adventure before the edits? In total, it's what, like 6? 5?
So we did 5. So I
5?
think 3 on the first when we did in 2020,
Yeah.
and then when we came back, it was 2.
2.
Yeah.
With the cliffhanger at the end, there's certainly more adventures that could be had with the system and settings, and the system seems characters and settings rather, and the system seems pretty flexible. Well done to everyone. It was easy to follow the action in the theatre of the mind, especially with the dynamic music and effects. Sean, this edit has been quite a lot for you, hasn't it?
Yes.
It's a big one. Yeah.
This is probably our most ambitious
Big boy.
edit.
Absolutely. It was. It's also our biggest season in general. It's 25 episodes worth.
Yeah.
So much goofing.
Yeah. It was, and I made a point of not leaving a lot on the cutting room floor. Like, it is still tightly edited, but there's not a lot that I don't incorporate, like kind of little flubs that we do or little kind of moments. Everything kind of stays in, which is both a help and a hindrance, really.
Yeah. and the last thing is congratulations on 100 Roll to Cast episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you, Charles.
Thanks, Charles.
Yeah.
And if you want to be cool like Charles, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And also tell a friend.
He's got an agenda.
I do.
Because it's interesting that we're talking on like 100 episodes of Roll to Cast. The other thing that I thought was really interesting, because, this season has spent, like almost 6 months of this has been Ambrosia Island, and so much has kind of happened for us individually in the role-playing community as well. Like, I was thinking about it, like, since then, like, starting with Paul, like, obviously your podcast isn't role-playing, but I know you've just started jumping into the GM's chair yourself. You've started doing like a Blades in the Dark experience with your casual game. For Phil, you've worked with Artalzorian and Sirenscape on both sides of the table.
Started doing some live stuff. Yeah. Which I hadn't done before. Yeah.
Ellen, for yourself, you've been all over the place. You've been on several different systems like D&D.
And she's been playing games.
Yeah.
Hey.
I
No,
get it.
that's true. From before Roll to Cast, I had only really played a little bit of D&D and like a few sessions in, I think, before you guys were like, "We're going to do a TTRPG podcast." I'm like, "Sure, whatever. I'm up for anything." Like, and it's like now I was just talking about it. I'm like, I was in a D&D kind of like interview thing for, and people were like, "How many other games do you play?" And I was like, "Well," and I literally like went to write them down, and I'm like, "I think it's like 7 systems."
Yeah. Chris, I don't know if you can talk about it at the moment, but you've got a stream coming up as well.
I think I can. I mean, we're promoting it on Twitter. So if you're not following us on Twitter already, make sure you do at Babybeard Media.
Yeah. We've got a giveaway.
We do have a giveaway, actually, if we reach 1,000 followers. But I'm working with the Bard's Playhouse for Jasper's Game Day, which is a charity. We're working on a game of Cult.
Which you've wanted to do for the longest
Cult with a K, I
Cult
believe.
with a K. And holy shit, I'm so excited for this, guys. It's going to be dark. It's going to be painful. It's like we're doing effectively like a bunch of kids on a beach during the summer, and it's like Stephen King's It.
Interesting.
It's going to be like dripping with atmosphere and dread, and I am all about it.
Not like I thought you were going to say like Lord of the Flies, but it is different beasts altogether.
I can't wait to find a body on the beach, mate. It's going to be lit.
Maybe it's Harold Holt.
And foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And for myself, I can't talk about either project yet, but I'll be doing a weekly stream soon for one system and then a monthly stream for another system. And I'm DMing a casual game now, which is fascinating to go through. So I think it's just interesting to see.
I've sort of mentored you into that, which has been really fun.
You are my Obi-Wan.
That's really fun. I really appreciate doing that and having someone kind of ask for my help makes you feel nice.
I mean,
I've run that campaign before.
It was like last week that I got Chris and Phil like physically up, and we needed to like look at how rules of engagement work. I needed like physically people in the space to go, okay, if you're here because of my arm, that's right. Mechanically, that's how it works because our bodies are doing this, and like
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just kind of think it's cool, like how much we've done differently and more over the past 6 months alone in terms of what Rollcast has opened up.
I'm running a mage game, a Mage the Awakening for Ellen and Sean as well.
Yeah. I'm about to run a couple of games at a con. This is going to be a new experience for me because we have blessedly been pretty good with the COVID down here in Adelaide, but we're still having a kind of COVID-safe convention here, AvCon, which is our local convention for anime and video games, but they also have a tabletop room. So I'm going to be doing a live con thing, which I haven't done before. That's exciting.
Hell, if you're based in Adelaide, go to AvCon and play at Phil's Tables. You can actually play as one of the Cyberpunk characters.
Yes.
Cyberpunk
one of our Feed the Beast characters.
Yeah.
I'm doing one on Saturday, one session on Saturday, one session on Sunday. So it'll be a Cyberpunk Red and Mouse Guard. So yeah.
This will come out before then, right?
It's coming out this Friday.
That's in 4th, 5th July. So
Yeah,
plenty
we
of
got time.
So
Buy your tickets.
two things that I wanted to bring up as we're kind of wrapping up is, first of all, like a huge thank you to Paul specifically for an ambitious music score. Like
God.
for Paul, it's just you went, I've never done a score before. I'm sure I can learn. And then you did.
I'm sure this would be doable. Shostakovich had it pretty easy, I think.
But no, like you've been like, obviously, you know, and as we'll mention, next season will be your swan song with us as you
Yes.
go on to bigger and better things. But it's been like 5 seasons worth of Paul Goodman scores and music, and you've just been so helpful and prolific, and kind of, you know, it's essential.
Oh
that
God,
we've had
yeah,
you.
The music that scores our seasons is just so perfect, and like, you know, I know personally I've gone around like especially like leading up or post season, like listening to those soundtracks, especially like it's been great to work with you on the next season's soundtrack. Because it's just it's like your little toy, and it's really fun to see like like, you know, I'll give like a little thing of like, I want this to be like a bit, what did I say, twinkly? Like,
Yeah, I think twinkly was one of
and you're like,
one of
sure,
the adjectives.
A little
why
more
not?
purple.
A little more
purple's a
purple.
good one.
Can you do it gooder?
Yeah. But it's just
More Goodman-y.
Yeah, just
fantastic.
wanted to like put a bit of the spotlight on you, Paul, because you've been extra helpful for us, and it's really appreciated.
Thank you, and it's been a real pleasure. It's actually, I wouldn't be, so one of the reasons that we're bringing this wonderful relationship to a close is that I'm actually having an EP released very shortly. And
Hell yeah.
that's just taking up a lot of time. But I wouldn't have gotten there without the 5 seasons of like constant betterment, trying to do better with every single score, and, you know, the new challenges that every single campaign presented.
Does your EP have a name? Do you want to plug it now?
Yeah, so the EP is called Violent Motif, and it's going to be coming out on Multiversal Records in the very near future. Just waiting on finalizing a few things. This is pretty much an exclusive, actually. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's what you guys get.
You
Thank
heard
you.
it here first, folks.
gosh.
Yeah, folks, even my own mum didn't even know. So
What kind of music can we expect on this EP?
you can expect some hard banging psytrance.
Oh,
Yeah, so full of pop culture references and playful am I going insane, I'm not too sure kind of vibes. But yeah, like honestly, going into COVID and suddenly finding that I had time to dedicate almost 100% of my time to making music and occasionally sleeping, it turned everything around. But it's been so much fun working with every single one of you on different campaigns for very different moods, and just sort of seeing what kind of insane requests every single one of you made, but in different ways.
What was your least favorite request?
I mean, that was a joke, but
Let's turn it around. What was your
make something
favorite?
up. Sean's request to pay me more money.
Yeah, there we go.
That was great.
That was a good one.
I instantly regretted it.
It was
No.
wonderful.
Yeah.
but there was also a sort of symbiosis there, I think, of like whoever I'm working with on a particular project, there's an element of inspiring one another to keep going and keep making stuff, or to keep working on it, or whatever. That's what I picked up on anyway. Feel free to just disabuse me of that.
yeah. I mean,
No, it's true.
when I'm prepping and editing and stuff, and you know, we often talk about our kind of ideas for the season as they come together, and then you're still kind of making the music as the ideas happen. So yeah, that definitely, I would listen a lot to the Cyberpunk tracks while planning and editing Cyberpunk. So it was definitely a back and forth there for me. It totally got me pumped, and I wanted to echo what Ellen said in that. Yeah, I go back and listen to the Cyberpunk soundtracks.
Yeah.
Quite often. They're just good
I
jams.
listen to Red when I'm roller skating a lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank
you.
So we've gone from Cyberpunk all the way to Paul's Swan Song. So we'll actually bring this over to Ellen. Do you want to give the first sneak peek of Kids on Bikes? And I've said it now.
Oh, fantastic.
Kids on Bikes. Do you want to give a bit of a spruik of what we can expect in 2 weeks' time?
Absolutely. So speaking of coming a long way with Roll to Cast, from not having played, you know, I'd only played one role-playing game prior, and now I'm running a game system. So it's Kids on Bikes, a mystery down under set in the 1970s in a sunny little place called Warrawirin in Western Australia, where we have our teen boys and girls and a few little kidlets who are realizing that something lies beneath the earth that they were so sure of just yesterday.
I love the longer you talk about it,
the more
Aussie
you
I get.
It's just like this natural progression. It's great.
Well, once you start with Mystery Down Under, you kind of gotta go from there.
Yeah, there's also a very
Cracks of EB.
There's a very special episode 0 coming up because there's a lot of world building happens in that session.
Yes, because it's a very rules light roleplay heavy game, which I found really invigorating. And so the kind of generally you all add to the story kind of collaboratively. I tweaked a little bit because I really fell in love with Australia. You know, it's a very rural, spooky place, especially that time. And a lot of things are actually period accurate. So I did a lot of research there. So I tweaked it slightly in my favor. But in our episode 0, we do all contribute our own little rumors and facts and spooky little insights into the town, and we inform the other characters by answering some improv questions. So it's a really fun way to run a game, and it definitely kept me on my toes the whole time.
So that's what you can look forward to in 2 weeks' time. We'll begin our Kids on Bikes season with music once again by Paul, and it's Phil, Chris, and myself as the players for the first time. Just the 3 of us playing a system together.
Just the boys.
But before we get onto that, as always, come back next week and we will be having the way to send off the Pulp Cthulhu season properly with our interview with our head writer of Pulp Cthulhu, as well as a co-writer of the Call of Cthulhu 7th edition itself, Dark Heresy 1st edition, and he's the current creative director for Chaosium Inc. as well, Mr. Mike Mason. Ellen and myself had a chance to sit down with him.
Lovely guy.
And so that's what you can look forward to. But I reckon that about wraps up for another season. And so until then, until next time, I have been your keeper, Sean.
I've been Chris.
I've been Phil.
I've been Ellen.
I've been Paul.
Oh, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Make sure you subscribe
Goodbye.
and share.
Au revoir.
Fucking bye.
Roll to Cast Ambrosia Island is a Baby Beard Media production. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all our podcasts are on Spreaker, Spotify, YouTube, and all good podcatchers. You can support us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/babybeard. Pulp Cthulhu and all associated properties are trademark of Chaosium Inc. Used with permission.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
Hey friends, this is Robots, the creator of the Robots Radio podcast network and host of the 2 original shows on the network, the Fallout Lorecast and the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. These 2 shows have rocketed up the iTunes charts. They both together have over 150 5-star reviews in only a couple of months, with bite-sized episodes that take you step by step through the background of the games and the game worlds. They're thought-provoking, well-produced, and a lot of fun. I recommend you go check them out at robotsradio.net or on any podcast reader, podcatcher, whatever you use, iTunes, Spotify. Again, that's the Fallout Lorecast and the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, available everywhere.
Ooh, you're still here. In that case, we have to reward you. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy a small little teaser, a taste, an excerpt, if you will, of our upcoming Kids on Bikes season. Take it away, us.
There's a little ice cream kind of stand that's been set up, and someone's, it's the classic kind of whippy, dumping sherbet and flakes and hundreds of thousands what you Yanks call sprinkles.
Does it have the siren that plays that song? What is that? Greensleeves.
Yeah,
yes.
someone's driven the beach, the van up onto the beach.
Yeah.
With the hard packed sand.
Yeah, but you do see a few kind of blokes in the all white and their caps kind of standing around the back. Nah, Dave, I reckon we've got bogged. Yeah, no, I know. It was a good idea, and you make a lot of sales today, but I don't think the van's going to budge. So that's something we'll need to figure out. What do you got to say for yourself, Dave? Oh, well.
I knew that was Dave's voice. I fucking knew it.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I don't know what you expect me to do. The kids, I'll come to the kids.
G'day, you guys serving yet?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Dave, get in the van.
Oh. Can I just get like soft serve for me and Izzy?
A soft serve? Would you like anything on top or just a plain soft serve?
You want flakes, don't you? Just chuck a couple of flakes in.
I want a flake and I want sherbet.
Just everything. Everything for the little one.
Everything.
Flake
Dave,
and sherbet?
Dave! They said everything. Said everything. All right, Dave's in a hurry at the back.
No. I've started.
Scoops
Izzy's
are
going to
flying.
regret that.
That kid's coming down from a sugar high like nobody else.
And so he gives you 2 cones, and they are just improbably high, just piled up the top because there's sprinkles. There's like 2 flakes shoved in there. There's 2 bubblegum balls as kind of like weird eyes. You kind of get they're kind of like alien looking.
Oh wow.
Hey,
Eric.
Hey, yeah.
I'm getting ice cream.
Okay.
Dad chucked us a £10 note. You want an ice cream?